Hey everyone, welcome back to Dyson Inc. Vesper here. So in our last video, we set up our first village, our little home base for our solo RPG, and today we're gonna take the next step and talk about creating our characters. And for that I want to introduce the system we'll be using. Dungeon World. I picked Dungeon World because it feels just right for me. I've tried a few different ones, and while D&D is awesome, it can get a bit heavy with all the rules, you know? Dungeon World seems super cool cause more about storytelling and having fun with the narrative. I also checked out Ironsworn, but it felt a bit too focused on mechanics for what I wanted. Ironsworn has many more moves compared to Dungeon World, and the moves are also more specific, so I was looking for something more simple. So, for those of you who haven't seen Dungeon World before, it's an RPG system based on Powered by the Apocalypse, where players describe what their characters are doing, and based on those descriptions, certain moves are triggered. And these moves might require a roll, and based on that roll, you either succeed at a cost, or fail. Even on a failed roll, the game master can introduce new elements to the story through GM moves, this way keeping the story dynamic. Now, don't worry if Dungeon World is new to you. Honestly, it's still pretty new to me too. We're gonna learn it together as we go. And for sure, we'll also be tweaking a few things here and there to make it work better for our solo play. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video. I've opened a reference here for the rules, and I was thinking that we can create two characters, a ranger and a warrior. So according to the rules, we first need to pick a race. We can choose between an elf or a human. Elves have an advantage when undertaking a perilous journey, while humans don't consume rations when camping near or inside cities or dungeons. Between these two, I think a human would fit our narrative better. However, an elf would be advantageous for us, considering we have a lot of exploration to do. So, yeah, I will go with the narrative. I will pick a human for the race. For alignment, let's go with neutral. Regarding names and looks, we can decide it later. Now for the stats, we do have that our maximum HP is 8 plus constitution and our base damage is a d8. And regarding ability scores, we have a set of values that we need to distribute among our 6 abilities. Okay, so as a ranger, I will high prioritize dexterity, followed by wisdom, constitution, then strength, intelligence, and charisma. So for the modifiers, we will get dexterity plus 2, strength plus 0, constitution plus 1, intelligence 0, wisdom plus 1, and charisma minus 1. So our maximum HP will be 21, 8 plus constitution. Next up we need to choose a move, or some moves, and our first one is to choose a companion. I was thinking about getting a Black Panther as an animal companion, a really badass one. Its name could be Frigg or Frigg. Yeah, I think it's Frigg. With the vibrating R, sounds more cool. So we need to choose the stats for Frigg. I think I'll go with Ferocity plus 2, Cunning plus 1, 1 for Armor, and Instinct plus 1. And based on those stats we can choose additional options here. Like for Ferocity, since we select plus 2, we can choose 2 options from the available items. And I think I will choose Ferocious and Stealthy. Okay, and here it says that Frigg is already trained to fight humanoids and I need to choose additional trainings as it's cunning. So Frigg is gonna be also trained in Hunt. Okay, then I need to choose a weakness based on his instinct and I will go with Frightening. So I picture Frigg as a young Black Panther, really stealthy and ferocious. He is trained to fight humanoids and hunt various creatures. While his intimidating presence can be frightening to others, he's incredibly loyal to the ranger we're creating. Yeah, I think we can go with that. Okay, so according to the rules, every time the ranger we're creating and Frigg, attack or do something that Frigg is trained in, we can leverage his skills. For instance, if we're attacking the same target, I can add ferocity to the damage or add his cunning to the attack roll. Okay, and our next move is called Hunt and Track, and it says that on a 7+, you follow the creature's trail until there's a significant change in its direction or mode of travel. And in a 10+, you also choose one, giving a useful bit of information about your query. The GM will tell you what, or determine what caused the trail to end. Okay, then our next one is Called Shot. When you attack a defenseless or surprised enemy at range, you can choose to deal your damage or name your target and roll plus dexterity. And we can choose to hit either the head, arms, or legs. And for instance, if we choose head, in a 7 to 9 roll, they are stunned. And in a 10+, they are stunned and you can apply your damage. If you choose the arms, they will drop anything they're holding, and the legs, they're hobbled and slow. Then we have some rules for load. We can carry 11 plus our strength modifier. Okay. And regarding our starting gear, we will start with dungeon rations, 5 uses, leather armor that will provide us 1 armor, and a bundle of arrows corresponding to 3 ammo. Then we choose a weapon, and I'll choose a hunter's bow and a short sword. And I also choose an adventure gear and another set of arrows for me. Yeah, for sure, more 3 ammo. For the bounds, we will do that after creating our second characters, the warrior. So our last step is to pick a name and appearance. Regarding the name, I thought about Ivar, and Ivar has piercing sharp eyes, a hooded head, and a strong and agile build. Yeah, I depicted him like that. Alright, so let's start building our second character, and first thing I noticed is like in the game system, the class is actually called Fighter, not Warrior. So yeah, we're going with Fighter. Now the first step is choosing a race, and like I said before, I'm picking a dwarf. And one cool thing about dwarves in the system is that when they share a drink with someone, they can use constitution instead of charisma to parley, and I love that. It's such a flavorful touch. And for alignment, I'm going with neutral, keeping things nice and flexible. As for the name, we've already got one, it's Glim. Now for the look, I imagine Glim with like he's a little chubby, really strong and chubby, and he has wild hair and he's wearing a battered old helm. Yeah, he's got that rugged nonsense vibe going on. And regarding his stats, so for fighter, max HP is 10 plus constitution score, which is pretty solid, and we have a D10 base damage die. Let me see here. Yeah, now let's move on to distributing his ability scores. And this is where we really start shaping who Glim is, both in combat and in personality. Alright, for Glim's ability scores, here's what I'm thinking. We'll give him a strong start with 16 in strength. He's a fighter after all, so he's gotta hit hard. Then 15 in constitution to keep him tough, and 13 in dexterity so he's not too clumsy in battle. For the rest, I'll go with 12 in charisma, he's got that rough charm, 9 wisdom, and 8 intelligence. Now we move on to the starting moves. And the first one is the signature weapon. So, of course, Glim's weapon of choice is an axe, but not just any axe. This one is inherited. It was crafted by his father, one of the finest weapons ever forged in the village, and while most weapons were melted down to make tools during the hard times, during the isolation that we discussed in our last video, this axe was spared. It's more than just a weapon. It's a symbol of heritage and pride for the dwarf folk that lives in that village. Next up, we need to choose the range and enhancements for the weapon. For range, I'm going with close. It's made for gritty up-close combat. And for enhancements, I'm going with sharp and huge. The sharp part gives that +2 piercing, which is great. We pierce through armor. And with healed, I get to add messy and forceful to the weapons tag. If I'm not mistaken, forceful I can push enemies away, and messy it's more descriptive in the way that I apply the damage. It's always ugly and really messy, as the word says. And I picture the huge aspect being all about the blade. It's not that the whole axe is oversized, but the blade itself is massive compared to other axes. Uh, Other axes have a smaller head, but this one, it's broad, heavy, and brutal. It's definitely made to make a statement, not just a cut. And for the look of the weapon, I'm choosing unblemished. Even though it's old and inherited, the axe looks flawless. No rust, no nicks, no cracks. It's being preserved with care, almost like a sacred relic. Gleam probably polishes it regularly, not just out of habit, but out of respect, and it still looks as deadly and beautiful as the day it was forged. And the next move is called Bend Bars Lift Gates, and yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. When Glim uses sheer muscle to tear through an obstacle, I roll plus strength. If I roll 10 or higher, I get to pick 3 benefits. On a 7 to 9, I pick 2. And the options are it doesn't take too long, nothing valuable gets wrecked, it is not ridiculously loud, and the last option is that you can fix the thing afterwards without too much trouble. And next up, Gleam's armored move lets him ignore the clumsy tag on any armor he wears, which is great for staying agile even in heavy gear. For carrying stuff, his max load is 12 plus his strength modifier, so he can lug around quite a bit. Now, talking about equipment, he has his signature weapon, the axe that we described it before, plus 5 uses of dungeon rations. And finally, let's talk about the bond between Glim and Ivar. For Ivar, I think I will pick this one. Glim doesn't understand life in the wild, so I'll teach him. And for Glim, I'll pick this one. I worry about the ability of Ivar to survive in the dungeon. This way they can at least think they have something to teach to each other. And there you have it. Our two characters are ready for their first session, and let's hope they survive. So that's all that I have for today, and see you in the next one. Bye!